What's up, employees of Sovereign Child Inc. This is, as you probably guessed from the title, going to be about the coronavirus. And if y'all don't want to hear about that right now, which is completely understandable, please click off. I don't want to trigger anybody. It's already hard enough for all of us, okay? So, I just wanted to talk about it because sometimes talking about things like this help, you know? My grandfather passed away about 2 months ago. Talking to my friends and family about it helped some. So I'm hoping I can help any of you out there. So as I'm writing this, as I'm recording this, the current worldwide death toll that's been confirmed is 80,933, which went up about 5K from the last time I saw it, about 8 hours ago. So, number of confirmed cases right now is 1,397,312. Number of confirmed cured patients is 298,513. So that's good. But thing is, a lot of doctors, nurses, and citizens in various countries say that their countries are underreporting the deaths, as in doctors will say that one doctor said their patient who had cancer got the coronavirus, and since they had cancer was not able to fight off the coronavirus and died from that, but the cause of death was reported as cancer and not COVID-19. Same with people who get pneumonia from it and die from that, which happened a lot according to a lot of doctors who were reporting this. Of course, this is not confirmed because, you know, governments still want to confirm it, but personally, I believe that. Do I believe it's a whole lot more? Probably not, but I do believe that governments are underreporting, and they need to tell us the truth. They need to tell people the truth, and then maybe people will listen more, you know? Citizens, especially from China and Spain, have said that their government is underreporting big time. But, of course, like I said, this isn't confirmed. This is, you know, speculation, really. But, personally, I believe it. It's up to you whether or not you do. For resources on what I found out, go to the coronavirus and COVID-19 threads on Reddit. That's where I found this information. Now, Mr. Rogers, we all know him, famously said that when he would see scary news on TV, or when he would hear about it, his mother would say, look for the helpers. There are always people who are helping. And right now we have doctors and nurses coming out of retirement. China sent masks to Italy with the message, we are all waves from the same sea, a famous Roman quote. Just like Japan sent medical supplies to China with the quote, I believe, from a Chinese poem that was, we come from different places or something, but we shared the same sun, moon, and sky. Then there's people who use their 3D printers to make masks and stuff for countries and hospitals that are running out of them. Companies like L'Oreal, for instance, who have stopped production or slowed production of their original products to make things like hand sanitizer, masks, and other medical supplies, which is fantastic. I love that. Now, you might, if you're like me and don't know personally anyone who's been affected by COVID-19 and you yourself are healthy, you might feel like you don't have the right to be terrified, to be as scared as you are, to have so much anxiety. I've talked to several people who are suicidal, basically, because of this. and don't feel like they have the right to be because it's not actually directly affecting them. And I'm here to tell you, you have the right to be upset as much as anyone else is affected by this, because this is something unprecedented in our lifetimes for most of us. Me, I've always thought in the back of my mind that something horrible would happen in our lifetimes, because in every generation there's something bad. World War One, World War Two, Vietnam, just to name a few, you know? But it still hit hard. I expected it, yet I didn't, you know? It makes sense that it would happen, because shit like this just happens in the world. But it's tough, but humans aren't made to process suffering at the level that we're seeing through social media and everything, through the death toll of currently almost 90,000 people, and that's just what's confirmed and reported. You know, you might feel like, since you still have your job, even if you're not working right now, like me, I haven't been laid off, but I'm not working because my businesses are all closed. Bookstores aren't considered necessary, you know, but I wasn't laid off. I got lucky. I'll still have my job whenever things get back to normal, which will happen. I don't know how long it'll be. My prediction might make y'all sadder, but I'm not an expert. I think it'll be around August before things get better. But that's just my guess. You have every right and reason to be afraid, to be scared, to wonder what's going to happen next. You know, we had a thing every month. We had possible war, at least the US, possible war with Iran in January. We had Australia on fire in February. March we had COVID-19. Now it's April and we still have it. You know, what's the next catastrophe? And there's memes about that, but behind that is the seriousness, because, you know, that shit is real. What's gonna happen next? We're all thinking that, you know? I mean, most of us are thinking that something big happened in our lifetimes, and it hasn't even ended yet. Some people, experts have said after this, whenever this finally ends, doctors and nurses are going to need PTSD treatment, and I think that's true of basically all of us, even those of us who weren't directly affected by coronavirus, because this is horrifying. You know, we're stuck inside, and you might not be able to see your family or your friends directly, but consider this, no one was really prepared for something like this. You can't ever be prepared for something like this, at least too much in advance, if you know what I mean. But you are doing the best you can by staying home, or by obeying your quarantine rules, by obeying social distancing. If you do have to work, you're doing the best you can, and that is enough. And if you're doing more than that, that's great. But don't consider yourself lesser because you can't handle doing more. Because me personally right now, I can barely handle doing this and keeping up with my blogging and live streaming and playing, you know, makeshift therapists to people. But I'm doing my best because it's something that I can do, you know. And if what you can do is just make funny pictures for people or funny memes, then that's great. If what you can do is spread information by retweeting stuff on Twitter, if what you can do is just keep up with the information, if what you can do is just obey the quarantine and social distancing rules, you are doing enough. Don't think you're not doing enough because other people are doing more. Because we're all doing, at least I hope we are, doing the best we can, you know, and that's all we can ask for right now, because things are too hard for us as a species, and we have to consider that, that, like I said, we're not made to process this type of horrible events on the level that we are processing it at. But we are. Some of us are forced to, but try, and I try not to look at the death toll more than a couple times a day. I try not to look at the news on Reddit more than a couple times a day. It's hard. I feel like, I'll feel like, why do I have the right to be upset when, I'm just reading about it and some people are directly affected by it. Some people on Reddit one person reported their mothers died from coronavirus. Another person said their brother is almost definitely gonna die from coronavirus. I read a story about a guy who was very healthy and got it and reported what was happening with him, and he's still in, not in ICU but in hospital for it, and I feel like, why should I, what right do I have to be scared to just turn off or exit out of the news and do something else, play a game, read a story, watch some funny YouTube videos instead? But how am I helping people? By overloading myself with this type of suffering. And I have to think, if I was a victim, would I want someone to overload themselves with my story, to make them, have anxiety attacks, to make their depression worse, to cause depression or anxiety attacks, to make them even feel suicidal? I would not ever want that, and I hope you guys wouldn't either. So keep that in mind. You should stay informed, but only to the extent that you can handle. And if that just means you check the most basic news once a day, or even just once a week, then that's enough. Okay? If you don't check it at all, that's enough. All you have to do is your best, which is, like I said, obeying rules and trying not to get yourself, your household, and others sick. Just obey social distancing, do your best to do that, and you're doing enough. If you can do more than that, that's great, but you're still doing enough. You're saving the world, like the meme said, by sitting home in your pajamas and playing games, okay? Don't think that that doesn't count, alright? So, with that all being said, guys, hang in there. I know it's tough. I'm sure some of you out there have family or even yourself who actually have coronavirus, and I'm so sorry. I hope you pull through. I am praying for you, sending you positive energy, whatever you want to call it, whatever you prefer. And for those of you who are going a little stir crazy like me, I don't even go out often, but now that I can't go out, it's getting kind of, crazy, but hang in there, everybody. We're all in this together. There's always someone to talk to. You can come to me and talk to me. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a professional, but I've been through some shit, and I'll be here for you as a voice to listen. If you just need to talk, if you need a distraction, I'm here. Just remember, you are not alone. You can always find someone to talk to, whether it's through Reddit, through streaming platforms like YouNow and LiveMe. I found a lot of support on LiveMe, and a lot of friends there. Through your family and friends, even if you can't see them in person, you can still talk to them on the phone, text them, maybe even video call them, so social distancing doesn't mean complete isolation. Do what you can to reach out if you need to. If you're good, by yourself, if that makes you feel better, then that's great. But just remember, you're not alone. We're all in this together. It's tough, but we're together in this, and we're all going, through we're all going through the shit, whether it's super horrible and affecting us directly, or whether it's like a suffering of mankind in general for us. So stay safe, stay healthy, wash your hands if you have to go out in public, don't touch your face. I love you guys, be careful out there, and have a great day, or else.